Hello again. In this video we will look at how to configure and customize the content you see in the sidebar, which is here, and if we have time we'll also look at doing the same down in the footer area, both here and here. So let's go to the dashboard. Here's our dashboard again. The content in those two areas are controlled by two of the administrative functions. Widgets, which we've looked at previously, very briefly, but we've seen them over here. So top sidebar is handling our social media widget. Our right sidebar handles these three elements. Content block on where's town name, the events list, our gallery sidebar widget, and our content block that indicates a link to our newsletter if we have one. Finally, the footer area has a block for the mailing information and the contact footer information the contact footer information also has our login link on it. The left sidebar only appears on our home page, and that's where you see the news releases, the archive of news releases, and comments made on any of those news items. So we'll look more closely at managing those in a minute, but let's go to the first element for most of these things. Anywhere you see content block, that element is created through the content block tool. The events list doesn't have that, and it's created by our events plugin, and we can drag and drop the events list onto the sidebar if we want to add a second one for some reason. Same with our gallery. Our photo gallery is controlled by its own plugin, and it has its own widget. Over here you can see the list of available widgets. Below that you see a list of inactive widgets. The difference between the two, the available ones have no settings. The inactive ones could have earlier settings or could mirror the settings of widgets that are already being used. So let's look at content blocks. We want to look at three at first. Where is town name, newsletter, and events? And these are, again, where is town name, events, and newsletter. So let's have a look. We have, under where is town's name, and you're going to start getting the idea that WordPress is pretty consistent. The toolbar, tool set for where is town name, and the content block is identical to what we've seen in our page and post editing function, and everything we can do there, we can do here. So I brought in an image. It's a placeholder image. Its size is indicated here. It's 207 pixels wide by 166 pixels high. You can pretty much have any height you want for your image, but the image cannot be larger than 207 pixels. If you do it much larger than that, you're not going to have enough margin around it, or it will be too large for the column and you'll break the site layout. It is centered here, and I do that by clicking on my image toolbar and going Edit Image, and you can see that its setting here is centered. It's at 100% in its size, and it doesn't link to anything. Now I should put alternative text in here for good accessibility practice, and I'll just call it town map. It should be just a description of what the image is about. And I can update my work there. The other thing I could do if I wish to is, well, you're going to want to get rid of this one. That big red button, it's gone. Okay? So I'm just going to make space to put a new image in because it's separate from this line. And it needs to go into a paragraph. So I'll put my setting at paragraph and my cursor back there. If I go here, that here, I'll just close this window briefly. Oh, the window wants to load. We'll have to wait. This line here says upload insert, and it allows me to insert regardless of which editing, which type of content I'm editing. Insert images, videos if I wanted, music, and manage my gallery of images and files. So I'm going to upload an image. You can also use this tool to upload Word documents and PDFs if you want to have downloadable material. And some of the videos that we're linking to in terms of advanced and intermediate tutorials will cover those topics for you. To select an image that's already on my server and ready to go, I would just click on Select File, and my hard drive organization would be exposed, and we could work on grabbing the information or the file that we wanted and adding it. I don't have another file to put in for this particular location, so I'm going to use the one that's there. And any particular article that you've published, and if you've had images attached to it, as long as you haven't deleted those images yet, they're still attached to the article. They're just not being brought forward and shown or made public. So here's the image. It's 207 pixels. As you can see its dimensions, and when I first uploaded it, I can use a caption, but we do want to use the description. And I'm just going to say town map again. And I don't want to change anything else. I want it to be centered, and I want to use it at its full size, and I go insert into post. There we go. Now when I save my work, we'll go back to the home page, refresh the page. There we go. So it's a nice and clean way for you to update and revise this, because I don't think you really want to see 207 pixels by 166 showing on your site for long. Let's go back. What other content blocks do we have? Well, in the case of a mailing block, which appears in the footer, it's automatically set to do that for you. You would simply have to go in here and make the corrections that are needed to bring this information up to date for your organization. Let's look at our contact footer. You probably don't have to make any changes to this. It has automatic links. It's already been set up to link to the contact page and to the login page. So you probably never will have to touch that. But if you may want to, for example, add a link to you may do a privacy policy, right? So you could type in privacy, make the space, to make a link you highlight the word, click on the chain, we'll just make up a URL. Well, I'll use the handy, this URL does not go anywhere. And now I've got a privacy link added to my site. You'd have to actually have the full URL from the page after you'd made the page. So there's possibility that you could add to that bottom menu down there. So I'm not going to save my work in this case. So we have a number of items that you can use here. The other way you could use this tool, if you wished, particularly if you've got advisories, a seasonal advisory. Maybe you're having a holiday parade, a Santa Claus parade in your community, and you want to really, really highlight it. A news release and an event posting isn't enough. You'd like to have it there at the top of the sidebar. Or there's a fire hazard warning, and you want to make sure the community knows it. You can create a new content block very simply. Just click the Add Content block, give it a title, put in the content you need, add any images that are going to fit, and publish it. The next question is, okay, David, I've now published it. What do I do? This is where we go back to widgets. Any blocks that are available to you to be moved into a sidebar area are listed over here. And if we had created a new content block, we could drag and drop it and place it. And in order to change the order of elements inside our content block, I simply have to put my little crosshair over that events list, and I can move it down here and swap it underneath the gallery. So you're free. Again, you know your circumstances best and who your intended audience is. You're free to add new material here, and as well to change the sequence of material to suit your needs. Maybe you're not doing a newsletter and you want to get the newsletter off the site. Just bring it down here, let it go. If we were just, there's nothing to save, that has done it for you. I'm simply going to refresh the page, and we'll see if a new revised order in our sidebar. Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to pop open the menu. So there's our where we are, there's our photo gallery, there's our event calendar, but we no longer have a newsletter link. So while we've set this up in what we believe is an optimal format for you, given the study results, each individual community has specific needs that require you to have the flexibility to customize this to a certain extent, and this is one of the ways you can do that. That's the end of this tutorial. As with any of this information, there are on our guideline document links to other video tutorials that will take you more deeply into any specific topic. and I'll just remind you of those. And I'll also remind you to make use of the WordPress support forums at wordpress.org if you have questions that are beyond the scope of what we've covered here. Anyway, thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you soon about a few other aspects of customizing the site.